Hey guys, welcome to the next Learning the StarCrafts. This is going to be a shorter, more specific video. This is going to be about why you should give a damn about what map you're playing on. So there's quite a lot of differences between the maps and they change every season most of the time. So I'm not going to give you map analysis of these specific ones. I'm just going to give you some idea of how you should be looking at the maps, what you should be expecting, what your strategy should be based on. So obviously the first thing you should be thinking about is where you're going to put your bases. And this can change quite a lot during a game. What your opponent is doing, what you're doing may affect where you put your base. But for example, you obviously are always going to take your natural, but from that point you have a choice. Especially on this map, this is Frost, you can either take your third here or down here, both of which are pretty difficult to defend, but they're your two choices. And as this is a 4-player map, your choice is likely to be based on where your opponent spawns. You're most likely going to want to take the base that is furthest away from your opponent. So if they spawn up here, you're more likely to want to expand down here, just because it is easier for you to get to faster if they're attacking it, because you're likely to see them coming for a lot longer due to this watchtower here. If you hold that, then you'll see anything coming down this path. That is one of the factors that could go into it, but you should, before you start game, think about where you're going to have your base. Have a plan. The plan may change during the course of the game, but before you start, you should have an idea of this is where I'm going to go. Unless something happens to change that, that's what I'm going to do. But saying that, you shouldn't be afraid to change your plan. Have a plan at the beginning. Try and stick to it. But if it doesn't work, if your opponent does something different, something unexpected, change your plan. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to stick to your strategy like the plague. It's just switch it up. See, do things on the fly, you know? It might work out better for you, and it definitely improves your skills in reacting to your opponent. So another thing to think about on maps is how easy is it for my opponent to rush me or cheese me. Now, on a map like Frost, you would say it's pretty difficult, because it's a 4-player map. Your opponent could be in any 4 of these spots, and at the beginning of the game you don't know that. You have to scout, and this is a huge map, so scouting is going to take a long time, unless you happen to go the right way first time, which is not always going to happen. So you have to plan that you're quite likely not going to find your opponent for a while. So it wouldn't make much sense to try and rush them when you don't know where they are or have any idea what they're doing. Obviously it does happen, it's just less likely. For example, as I'm playing Protoss on this map, it would make a lot of sense for me to go to a Forge Fast expand. One, because as again, they don't know where I am. It could be a while before they spot that I've expanded early, and by that point it may be too late for them to punish it. Also because this gap here is quite easy to block off fairly early as Protoss. You can build your wall, put a cannon here, and you'll be pretty safe from anything in the early stages of the game. Another thing you'll want to be looking out for though is where can the proxies happen? Because it's always a possibility. Even on a gigantic map like this, it wouldn't be a good idea for your opponent to do it, but it might happen. So you need to have an idea of where you need to scout. For example, this high ground up here behind your third base. It'd be very easy for your opponent to exploit this. You should always, if you're taking this base, always get vision of what's up here. Because they could drop up here, they could put a tank on there, they could build a cannon up there, they could exploit this so much. So you should really prepare for that. If you are taking this base, make sure you have vision of this high ground. It's as simple as that. If you're taking this base, make sure you have something looking out for this path up here. Make sure you have this watchtower for things coming around this way. Basically, make sure you have vision where you need it to be. So here's another of the current ladder maps that you'll need to be thinking about. This is Habitation Station. And the thing you need to be thinking about with this map is that it has a gold base. Now, gold bases are extremely valuable because you collect resources much faster from them. If you can get a gold base early in the game, it will put you so far ahead economically. But the thing about it on this map is it's really hard to defend, because it is a long distance from your natural. And there is only one path to it for you. It doesn't take your opponent to get very far to attack this. You'll notice it, and then they can just leave. You also need just to keep an eye on it to make sure that they haven't expanded there. Because if they have, you need to do something about it. If they've got a base there, you need to try and take it out. You probably need to take your own gold to try and balance it out. But if they go for this early, it's possible that they could go for this one straight away as their natural expansion. If they do that, you need to spot it, you need to punish it, because if you let them just go, get away with it, they're going to be so far ahead and there's not much you'll be able to do. There's also, from the way that the bases are positioned on this map, this watchtower is absolutely essential to keep hold of, because the bases are both at the top. The attack paths are going to go past this watchtower unless you intentionally avoid it. This watchtower is going to spot anything that's coming your way. The only thing that it can't spot is drops heading across this huge black space here. And that's another thing you need to watch out for. There is a lot of space here for things to get through undetected and drop in your base. Something could drop stuff right here without you seeing it. There's also a lot of space behind your natural up to your main for drops, banshees, all that kind of stuff, oracles, to nip from your natural to your main, stay over here, out of range of your defences. So you need to keep an eye on that. The distance between the two bases on this map is also very short. And it's only a 2-player map, so you know where your opponent is without scouting it whatsoever. You know where they are, it doesn't take you very long to get there, and that encourages people to do cheese and rush, so you need to be prepared for that. For example, if you were Zerg on this map, you probably wouldn't want to open with a hatchery first, because it would be very easy for your opponent to punish that. So those are the main things you need to think about when you're thinking about maps. It's always a good idea to check out the maps before you go into a game. If the season has just started, they're new maps. Have a look at them before you go in. Have a plan. Don't stick to your plan no matter what, but have one. It makes it so much easier. So you need to be aware of where your bases should be, where you need to have vision, if it's likely that they're going to rush you or cheese you, how easy it would be for them to exploit dropping, the different attack paths that are available to you and to your opponent, what kind of strategies to most expect from your opponent, what kind of strategies would be easiest for you to execute. So have a think about these things before you go into the game. Things can change while you're in it, but be prepared, you'll feel so much more comfortable. And hopefully you won't be absolutely shocked and flustered if your opponent does something cheesy. So thanks for watching, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.